The lesson.
Oh yeah.
So who were the big four?
You know, like we had 73A, RCF, you know, NA, and JBL, and you know there were others in the, you know, not as predominant, but they're all lurking about. Like you had your TDC and you know other Oban crews and other, I don't know, just heads everywhere. There were a lot of crews.
There was a lot of crews, and it's hard to remember. You know, those dudes that were just like killing buses for a short, like maybe a year or two. Like CAF went nuts on. You know, they were a crazy bombing crew, but they didn't piece much.
So there was a lot of come and goes, you know, which to me I just put it down to just getting hot and burning out, or either they just changed names and you know. But yeah, like CAF, you know, that went off for a crazy amount of time. It was just like fuck, things were killed, you know, and other crews like doing their thing. But I guess for me, those 4 or 5 were the main sort of dudes that had, you know, big numbers and all had their little branch outs doing their thing and killing stuff. And yeah, just, you know, not everyone was a bomber, not everyone was doing yards, you know, just all fit together, doing their thing.
Was there any beefs at any point in time? And if
we all
so,
loved each other, man. Things was just so lovely and chill.
It's all gravy.
No, you know, everyone's got beef, man. You know, there's people, always happens. You know, there's bits and pieces happen here and there. Things people don't get. You know, fucking.
It's pretty competitive, I think, graph in general. Like,
I wouldn't say jealousy or anything, but dudes don't like what some people do and this and that.
If you're getting up a lot, you get noticed. You're gonna get haters. You know, you're going to get dudes that love what you're doing, you're going to get dudes, a small minority that hate what you're doing with it. And I don't know, maybe it is jealousy and shit because they're not putting in the work you're putting in, you know. But we were definitely trying to do our bit and get, you know, make our mark. And, you know, I suppose the worst haters we got were probably the cops at the time. You know? They were doing some pretty fucked up vigilante stuff. And
tell us a little bit about that, like the sort of stuff that they was doing.
You know, like a lot of trains, when they scrapped the red hens, initially they were pretty hard to do. They were really trying to lock down the yards so we couldn't actually paint them. So dudes were definitely, there's more bombing going on in Adelaide, a lot of insides, a lot of run-ups. That was the predominant thing. Panels were pretty hard to do in the early 90s. They were getting done, but few and far between. Then they scrapped the red hens and they sort of left them out in the open. So, you know, dudes were getting in, doing some nice trains, and the transit cops formed their own little graph crew, Fancy, which stood for Fighting Against Non-Creative Youth. And they just started capping all the panels and stuff. I remember they dissed the NA into them, got done in there, no NA, no ability, just shit like that. And, you know, that was a handful of like 4 or 5 transit cops, like Roberts and Tucky and that.
Yeah, like, I mean, that stuff's gone on since the start of time with graffiti, you know, like, I guess the transit squads would be trashing or whatever. But here, I think, like, you had it in Melbourne really bad, you know, you had it everywhere. But at that era, like around mid-90s, I think it was, 93, 94,
Yep. Yeah,
I think it was just so us and them with, like, it was, they really nutted out who was who, and we nutted out who was who of them, and you know, it was a real sort of, I wouldn't say a battle, it was just like, we're going to do our thing, they're going to keep doing their thing.
Like cat and mouse, remember that day?
Yeah.
It was good. Followed through the city for hours.
Yeah. Things, you know, like, things just got, I guess, hot, and you know, because Adelaide's so small compared to other cities. I mean, looking back now, there's probably ways I could have been less hot by just, you know, like upping and moving, or just, you know, like, but when you're young and, you know, you're not cashed up, you're just sort of, you know, doing your thing, you're just getting by or whatever, that's not really an option now. You look at it and go, well, I'll just live here for a bit, or I'll do this, or, you know, changing names works for a while, but, you know, after a while they're onto you again. And
back then, like, there was no internet, obviously, so there was no Facebook or nothing. You had to be out there.
oh, I had it, mate.
Yeah, you're also ahead of the game, you know.
Yeah, no, fucking if it was like,
You had to be out there doing it, and
Yeah.
the cops were out there doing it. They were like out there patrolling, looking for riders, picking you up on platforms, searching you, checking, you know, taking your name. And after 3 or 4 times of that, there's new first name basis, you know. So they just see you, grab you. What are you doing? Fucking, what's in your bag? You know, you got markers on you today. So we're getting picked up a lot, harassed a lot. And I think that's definitely from the fact that you had to be out there doing it, not just sitting at home on Facebook checking the photograph on the screen. If you wanted to see graph, photograph it, whatever, you had to go out there and ride the lines, see who's doing what the night before, get off, get flicks if you like that piece. You know, all the while you're doing insides and hangouts and trying to evade, you know, any undercovers or whatever. And they were riding a lot of trains back then, you know, and it's because they had to. And that was their only way to get intel.
like we do loops of, you know, you work out your train trashes or whatever, however you want to document it, you know. We had our little tricks of the trade, and they had theirs, you know, like they'd get dropped off, 2 of them would, you know, do their loops, get picked up, you know. It's kind of like fishing, you know. They'd just be out putting their lines out, seeing what they sort of got, and we'd be the same, but we had a bit more, we were like studying it, you know. We had it like locked down fairly much.
We knew the times, you know, better than they did of the trains, you know, the schedules.
And you know, well, not that we're the first to ever do that or anything like that, you know. We just got, you know, you pick up things from interstate and other riders you meet through your crews and that, give you little hints. But I reckon around that era, you know, things were getting trashed a lot by them because they were getting so frustrated with not, you know, picking us up so much, or you know, not us two in general, but the whole of Adelaide's sort of graffiti scene, picking so many people up and not really having the charges against them that they were harassing you for, you know. So they resorted to cheap shit, and, you know, it didn't really help because it, you know, if you poke someone too much with a stick, they'll just, you know, do the same shit back, worse or whatever. And, you know, there'd be days when we just, you know, I'd just go and destroy stuff, like just had enough, you know. 3 or 4 pieces in 1 week, trashed, yep, okay, you know. 10 pieces in a week, trashed, right, well, you know, we'll go do this, do that.
A lot of cat and mouse, definitely.
And it was, you know, I'm honestly, I am a vandal. I love, you know, ever since growing up, I like bombing, I like skateboarding, I like street skating, I like, you know, all the things that aren't your general cookie cutter type of shit, like, you know, like, you know, I played soccer and all that shit too, but I just didn't like the team sort of I like doing things myself or with a couple of like-minded people, you know, like, you know, so I got sort of easily distracted by like graffiti and vandalism. And, you know, I wouldn't say like I go out and I'll walk down the street and smash windows and kick bins over and trash people's cars or anything like that, but I love seeing a bombed train or a fence with tags on it, you know. To this day, I'm 39, you know, like I admit it, I'm over trying to deny it. There's like artists and this, like, yeah, do art, but I, you know, they're like, oh, you wouldn't do tags and that, like yeah, like I love tags.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
You know,
First and foremost, bombers, you know, and it's almost like by default that we got, you know, into the art side of it. But, you know, it's just, yeah, I want to do pieces too. Get inspired by Subway art or whatever, Star Wars, and, you know, you want to do burners too. It's all part of it. But yeah, we're definitely primarily bombers, you know, and so much adrenaline rush.
And I look at what the transit police or even police in general do, or Trans Adelaide workers, whoever, you know, buffers.
Doing the same shit.
They do exactly the same, and it's kind of accepted. But, you know, for instance, we did on these trains that were getting scrapped. You know, they were coming straight from the yard to a place from the Adelaide yard or all the, you know, the State Transport Authority yards to a scrapping place and just chilling in a like an open layout. You could, you know, pretty easy to paint and have some fun before they were scrapped. You know, like, and you know the cops would go there and like. So we couldn't do whole cars, smash the windows, or, you know, I'm talking 30 windows, 40 windows, smashing windows. Like, what the fuck is that, you know? Like, I don't know, if a young kid went down there and, hey, I'm going to smash windows on these trains, it'd be like, oh, the kid's got problems, or, you know, we'll take him off to children's court or whatever. But, you know, it's acceptable for a 45, 50-year-old man to do it, and sort of, you know, now you can't do whole cars type of thing. It's like, it's very petty to be sort of, you know, sort of what I'm going on about, but sort of like tit for tat, you know, eye for an eye. Like, it's just got a bit much after a while, and yeah, man, like, they still do it to this day, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's ever going to stop. I'm not sitting there looking for a solution to it. I've accepted it, you know. I get things trashed even now, you know.
That night they trashed all, like, you know, about 5 or 6 of our big legal productions that we did for councils and government and stuff. And a lot of them were on train lines, you know. And they just destroyed them all in one night with like massive chrome flat caps. And they actually admitted it to Damien, you know.
Yeah, you know, like that's, even though smashed windows, they were saying to me, oh, you've seen your whole cars, you know, like things like that. It's, you know, water off a duck's back to me. I don't give a shit. I've got really nice photos. I always try and get your photo, but, and you know, there's the occasional ones you miss, like one that got away or whatever, like, might rock up and it's bath, like, you know, but live and learn. It's sort of, that's what I love about the game, man. It's, or, you know, the game, whatever you want to call it. It's one of those things, it's raw, you got to be in it to win it type of thing, you know. Like, I respect everyone doing their thing at the moment, and, you know, always sort of have looked upon the up and comings as like they're going to be like me or like others that I respect in a few years, you know. Like, if they don't get, you know,
it's still
sidetracked.
There's a lot of panels are getting done. It's
yeah,
still happening. Some good stuff happening too.
The lesson. Oh, yeah.